Let's go through a brief introduction to computer networking. In this video, I will show a diagram of a basic local area network. I'll explain what TCP/IP is and demonstrate how it works. And then we'll show some basic networking command line tools in Windows and Linux. First, what is a computer network? A computer network is two or more computers that communicate. So for example, we have a lot of systems here in this local area network. Here's a PC and here's another PC. If they want to communicate with each other, they have to be networked together. What do they communicate? Data. It's that simple. Now, I use the word computers loosely. It could be any system or device that has an IP address and can communicate on the network. Any host, you could say. In the center of this local area network, we have a switch. This connects everything together in a wired fashion. It is connecting a PC, a laptop, another PC, a printer, some servers, and here we have a wireless access point, and then that allows for access from wireless systems like mobile devices and other laptops. The switch also connects to a router or gateway device, which is the device that allows all these systems access out to the internet. And quite often that'll happen through some type of firewall. And in fact, the two may be one and the same device. So this is an example of a typical small office local area network, or LAN. So what is the purpose of an IT infrastructure? Think about that for a moment. You could say that the purpose is to manipulate the processing and transmission of data in such a way so as to make an organization more productive and to make its customers happy. Remember, it's all about the people and the usage of data. It's all about that productivity. As IT technicians, we have to constantly remind ourselves to focus a little less on the tech and a little more on the purpose and, of course, the people. Now, to make it all happen, one of the most common protocols that's used is TCP/IP. So what is TCP/IP? TCP/IP is a suite of communication protocols that govern how computers talk to each other. Every computer that uses TCP/IP gets a unique IP address, which distinguishes it from other systems on the network. So for example, we have a PC here. We could call this PC number 1. And for example, maybe the IP address of that system is 10.0.2.101. And over here, we have PC number 2. And perhaps that IP address is 10.0.2.102. It's that last octet, that last number in the IP address that is different, and that's what they use to communicate with each other. So they communicate by way of IP address. Now, let's show our local area network setup again with a typical TCP/IP setup. Here we have a PC, and it's using the IP address 192.168.1.73. This is a different network number than we showed before, but it's very common in a small office or home office or just in the home. Here we have another PC, and that's using the IP address 192.168.1.142. So what's different between these two PCs? That last number, that last octet of the IP address. This one is 73, this one is 142. And over here, our gateway or router device is using the IP address 192.168.1.1. And that's the device that will allow these PCs and laptops and mobile devices to gain access out to the internet. So that's a typical TCP/IP setup for a local area network. Let's close out this lesson with a couple tools. And first I'll bring up Windows 11. And we'll open up the PowerShell in Windows 11. And let's run a couple commands. The first thing I want to do is see the IP address for this system. And we do that with an ipconfig/all command. You'll use this command very often in Windows. If we press enter, we'll see all the networking information for this particular network adapter. And what I'm looking for is the IP version 4 address. In this case, it's 192.168.122.63. And again, we do that with the ipconfig/all command. If you wanted to see that information in a macOS system, you would run the ifconfig command, and you'd get similar results. If you're working in a Linux system, we could open up the terminal and run the IPA command. IPA. Press enter, and we look down here to INET for internet, and we see the IP address 10.0.2.56. It's always good to know what the IP address is of your system and know the commands to find the networking information and configuration for your particular system. Let's show a couple other tools here. If you're working in Windows or any other system, a common tool you'll use is the ping command. Ping allows you to see if other hosts are available on the network and also on the internet. So if I wanted to ping the gateway address for this particular network that this system is on, it would be this. And it says I get replies. And that's good. That means that that remote host is up and I can communicate with it. I can also do this with domains and servers on the internet. For instance, ping example.com. We press enter, we're getting replies from example.com's IP address, which is this. Let's show a couple other things on a Linux system, and this is actually the main system that I'm working at here. We could run the ping command like we did before, ping example.com, and get replies in the same manner on a Linux system. You could run other commands as well. Let's say you wanted to see how fast you're connecting on the internet. We could run a speed test-CLI command if you have that program installed on Linux. And it'll retrieve that configuration and do a test. While that's running, over here, I'll run another command called nload, which will show how much information is currently going in and out of our networking connection. 600 kilobits per second, average of 40 megabits per second, and so on. And our speed test over here just finished. I'll make that a little bigger. And you can see that the download speed is 300 megabits per second, and the upload speed is 17 megabits per second. Always good to check that and see what the speed is of your internet connection, and check that against what you're actually paying for the internet connection. Make sure you're getting what you're paying for. So some nice little tools here to check your connection and test other systems' availability on the network and on the internet as well. And that's about it for this video. Take a look at whatever network your computer is a member of and try to identify the various devices that are part of that network, whether they're PCs or laptops, or most likely mobile devices or IoT, Internet of Things devices. If you have a switch or a router or a wireless access point, try to look around and identify what those devices are and what they do, and how your network is configured.